from 7 p.m. live on Got Kush TV. Quarantine Convos. Enjoy weekly discussions with people from around the world, assisting us in dealing with this normal, mentally, spiritually, and physically. We feature nutritionists, psychologists, therapists, personal trainers, home educators, legal experts, and more, bringing you all the information and inspiration you need. Check out Quarantine Convos every Thursday from 7 p.m. live on Got Kush TV. Quarantine Convos. Enjoy weekly discussions with people from around the world, assisting us in dealing with this normal, mentally, spiritually, and physically. We feature nutritionists, psychologists, therapists, personal trainers, home educators, legal experts, and more, bringing you all the information and inspiration you need. Check out Quarantine Convos every Thursday from 7 p.m. live on Got Kush TV.
Good evening, all. Good evening. This evening, we have our guests. We're starting going in straight today. Yeah, we've had some technicals. That's why we started late, so apologies. It's been a challenge. I don't know if we're in a retrograde, but it feels like one, okay? So I have my ladies here this evening. And those of you who don't know, there is a special event coming up this weekend. Yeah, and it's been so busy. I had the real pleasure of going to an event, the He's Vulnerable When screening recently, and it's fantastic. So, you know, big up to Chia Phoenix and all those, Andre and Kia Gamma, all of those that were on there. It was an amazing lineup. I might have, if I have any technicals in between, just work with me, just ride it through, yeah, because it looks like there might be some challenges. Yeah, I got some, my screen is sticking on this side and all sorts of things could go on. Okay, so just work with me. But for now, yeah, I do want to have a conversation with these ladies here this evening. Yeah, and these ladies here are doing something quite amazing, actually, really quite amazing. And I want to start the conversation with, obviously, with their bios, yeah, but I also found a lovely proverb for them, seeing as they're here already. Before we speak about their bios, there's a lovely proverb that I found for them today, and I found that, you know, in reading their bios and the connection that this work has made, yeah, I can see the connection through meeting them backstage, but also just reading about them. So I want to start with this right now, and it shows in the work and the correlation between the work and what the work is about. So wisdom is like the baobab tree. No individual can embrace it. And when I heard that, I thought about it from creativity. Creativity is like that. You know, no one owns it. It's just shared, yeah? And you pull it, yeah? And you draw it in with each other. And so it takes something to do a collective piece such as this, yeah? So I really want to acknowledge these ladies for doing that. I'm going to pull up the, if I'm able to do that now, I want to pull up their flyer as well. So I'll do that in the background. But in the meanwhile, I want to share with you a little bit about the ladies. Now, there are three ladies, in fact, that are not here this evening who couldn't make it. And so it's okay. Yeah, we will engage anyway. But I do want to share this with you because I think this is really, really special. And I think it's only fair that you see it too. You understand what's going on in the community and what these ladies sought to do. Like, you know, I've not come across anything like this before, actually, with the ladies, sisters coming together like this and combining their art and such a collaborative function. So I really appreciate it. So let me start with some of the ladies that are not here this evening. Okay, so who we don't have this evening, we have a sister called Nanette Ben. A surveyor by profession, Nanette rediscovered her artistic creativity in 2018 when she began canvassing, painting using acrylics and Indian ink. She went on to add digital art to her catalogue, which she taught herself during the 2020 lockdown. Born in Manchester to a Trinidadian mother and Nigerian father, the family moved to London in the late 60s, and Nanette would go on to embody her mixed heritage in her paintings. As her portfolio of work evolved, demand has grown for her greeting card and logo designs. To date, she has held 3 solo exhibitions: Call Me By My Name, Magic Melanin and Mood, Black God. Nanette describes her talents as ancestral gift and is a celebration of feminine energy and tenderness, which she expresses in her portraiture and figurative artwork. So that's Nanette, who couldn't be here this evening, but will also be exhibiting on the day. And who we have this evening, we have our ladies Jay and Nefateri and Dionne, but Elaine could not make it this evening. So I want to share a little bit about Elaine. So Elaine Buchanan. Elaine is a London-born, self-taught fine artist with Dominican and Jamaican parentage. Elaine graduated from Kingston University with a BA Honours in Art and Design in 2018. Since then, Elaine has gone on to participate in group exhibitions. Elaine's paintings are very expressive. She allows her audience to create their own features in her paintings, as some of their identity is hidden. Elaine solely using Black images in her work, as she resonates and feels a deep connection with her images, and this creates a deep intensity for her audience. Elaine is a multidisciplinary artist, creating expressive paintings and realistic style of pencil portraits, which are used to evoke an emotional response from her audience. Elaine's work solely focuses on her characters, allowing the audience's imagination to place the setting. This plays an integral part in understanding her work. Now, another sister who couldn't make it this evening, and a sister that many of you might know, in fact. So I'm quite disappointed, sis, that you couldn't make it this evening. I'm going to say that because I know this is personally. And I love her. Okay. Kemet Imani, some of you already know her as the author of Twisted. Kemet is an education consultant who has taught for over 25 years and dedicated her time and efforts to support her community. Her passion lies with Black children, working to support their achievement and attainment. As a knowledge of truth activist, she hosts a show on Instagram on her social media platform, Official Stop the Silence, which highlights and educates around issues that affect the Black community. As well as being a mother, grandmother, and trusted friend, Kemet is an international philanthropist, humanitarian, and human rights activist. So that's the ladies who have not been able to attend. So you can see the caliber of women already this evening. Yes. So I want to go into a little bit about the ladies of this evening who are here with us, yeah, just to give you a sense of it, and then they can, by all means, I will be quiet, yeah, and they can do the talking. Okay. And I've known a couple of these ladies for some time, so you're gonna have to guess in a minute who they are. Nefateri is a mother of 5, grandmother of 2, a multi-award winning entrepreneur and self-taught mixed media artist. Her art has and was inspired by divine intervention following a deep bout of darkness in her life in 2016. One morning, after many months of trying to rise above it, she was guided by an inner voice to paint. Not having any previous painting experience, she questioned the voice but chose to listen. And then we have Dionne. Yes, Dionne is born in the UK, born a Mosaic Artist from Bedfordshire, where she currently resides. She was first introduced to Mosaic in 2002 after searching for a more creative interest outside of her 9-to-5 role, working as a legal secretary. Having found her artistic side, Dionne decided to take further training with award-winning Mosaic artists and also teaching herself. And finally, we have Jay Percy. And Jay Percy, her art is is primal practice that connects us to ancestral strength, sacred healing, and the divine cosmos. Growing up in East London, surrounded by 30-year-old Jay was a multicultural in a multicultural environment and at close proximity to Epping Forest. From her time spent in forests and taking trips to the beaches of her ancestral home, Antigua, Jay possesses a long-lasting love for divine nature. This theme is present. So, ladies, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope I was able to share you well enough this evening. Yeah.
Thank you. You made us sound all very good. We sound very interesting.
You are. Let's not pretend you are, okay? Let's just be clear about that. So I just want to thank you so much for coming this evening. It's beautiful. And I just, at Nefateri, so I met Nefateri, I don't know how many years ago. We're talking when you probably first started. Yeah, your cards. Yeah, just at the beginning. How many years was that, sis?
This year will be 14 years, actually. So it's about 14 years.
Long time. That's when I met you. That's when I very first met you. Your cards are coming out. And I still buy your cards. Yeah. Still, I'm going out to the shop and I'm like, my girl.
Thank you.
I did not know Dionne about 20 years now.
Whoa.
And I know you've been doing art for a very long time. Very long time. Mosaic has been your thing. I've seen some of your pieces. I've been around you and seen some of your pieces. So I know your work is beautiful. So thank you. And Jay, thank you so much for coming on. So perhaps tell us a little bit about how this event got started. What was where did it start? What inspired you to all come together collectively like that?
Okay, ladies, do you mind if I start?
Go for it.
Yes, I guess first and foremost is to tell you what this event is, what it's all about. So what it is, it's a semi-augmented Black art experience. Now, we don't just call it an art exhibition because we're giving you so much more than an exhibition. It's taking place this coming weekend, which is from Friday, the 10th of June to Sunday, the 12th of June. So this weekend. So put a date in your diary, put the dates in your diary. With regards to being able to attend, we have an Eventbrite. You have some information on Eventbrite where you can book tickets. The tickets are free. If you book tickets online for the Friday or the Saturday, then it will enable you to be entered into a free prize draw where you have the opportunity to go away with a lovely piece of art. So it's worthwhile signing up for Friday and Saturday. So yes, like I said, it's a Black art experience. And how it all came together really was off the back of a solo exhibition that I had done myself last year, I suppose, really. After doing that exhibition, I mean, I've known Dionne for a very long time as well myself. So I've known Dee for quite a while. Jay, I met at an exhibition where both of our art was being exhibited in Shoreditch. That was the first time. That was last year, wasn't it, Jay?
Yeah, I think it was the end of last year or the beginning of this year sometime. Yeah.
And I saw her artwork, loved it. She saw mine, she liked it. And we just connected, like we'd known each other for a long time. We're speaking about what we do. And I just sort of said, if I was to put on a group exhibition, would you be interested? She said, yeah. Same with Dionne, same with the other queens. After that, I've just put it out there. If I was going to put on something, would you be interested? And they all said yes. So I'm the type of woman that if I speak it, I have to make it happen. Have to make it happen. So I went in search of venues, came across this venue in Stoke Newington where the event is taking place. And once I found it, I just contacted all the sisters. There's 6 of us all together. I contacted all 5 sisters. And I just said, look, I found a space. Are you still interested in being part of a group exhibition with myself? And within 10 minutes, no lie, all of the sisters then said, yes. And that was the birth of it. So I don't know if you want to add on to that, ladies.
It's probably the most easy WhatsApp group chat that's ever happened in the history of WhatsApp group chats. No, but just meeting Nefateri, the pure like joy and energy and staring at her actual work. I think we actually met because I was staring at her work and she walked by in this like glorious cape. And there's just such a presence, and the conversation got flowing, and it was just such a miracle to be able to meet someone as brilliantly minded, especially as, you know, things were sort of weird in 2020, 2021. You know, people were a bit scared of being around other people. It came at the right time. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you. Dee, you want to add anything to that, darling?
Yeah, well, it was an easy yes for me when you asked if I wanted to be part of the exhibition. That was just like easy for me, because I know that we've been friends for quite some time, and we've also collaborated together, which was wonderful. So, you know, just seeing you progress from doing like your solo exhibitions and just saying, wow, she's raising that bar and I want to go there with her. So yeah, it was an easy yes. And meeting all the rest of the ladies, it was just amazing that we all kind of gel and we get on all together. It's going to be amazing on the weekend. It really is. Looking forward to it.
Brilliant.
So tell us a little bit about your art, how we've talked about some of the inspiration. So tell us a little bit about it, because a lot of people sometimes see themselves, when it comes to art, they see themselves, there's them and then art's over there. Yeah, there's often a disconnect with art. Yeah, so I want those who, never necessarily go to art exhibitions to really experience, understand, and get a sense of, okay, well, what's going to draw me there? Who are these people? Because when you connect with the artist, I think that makes a difference to your attendance, and it gives you an insight into the piece that you're looking at when you get a sense of it, rather than just going to a space where it's beautiful art, but there's no connection to the artist. So maybe tell us, if you want to start, Nefateri, by all means.
Okay, most definitely. Well, I started art just, this one want to come and speak to everybody.
The art wants its word.
Is it? Yeah, thanks, So I started.
The ancestors are in the building. The ancestors are in the building.
Now that's a sign for honor for com,
It just jumps out at you, the art.
Exactly. So I mean, I started doing art just 4 years ago. When I started, I didn't know how to paint. I didn't know how to do anything. It was just a guidance to just start. So I did actually use like YouTube to try to learn basics and things like that. And it was just something that was giving me some form of, like, I suppose, art type of therapy at the time. And then I saw underwater sculpture on the internet. I saw an underwater sculpture based on the sculptures. I think they're by Grenada, under the sea in Grenada, which were made in honor of those ancestors who had gone across the Middle Passage and lost their lives during the Middle Passage back in history. And I was like, wow, that looks nice. I want to create something like that, but obviously not on that scale. How can I do it with the way that I create art? And the ancestors just putting ideas in my head, and I got materials together like art resin, sculptured faces, and I created my very first underwater piece using resin. And it was a very spiritual connection, because when I was pouring the resin over the faces, and as it was coming up to the nose, I stopped. I couldn't go any further. There was just this feeling of drowning the ancestors over again. So I had to stop for a few days. I had to be speaking to my spirit guides, and I was guided to carry on. Everything was okay. Following that, and I finally created the piece, there was a sense of healing at the end of that. And I think it was at that point where I realized I want to create art that shines a light on our atrocities that's not spoken about, but to do it in a way that we give honor and pay tribute to those who have gone before. So my art is very, I would say, spiritual to a certain degree, or it's emotional art. So when you see it, what I've found from people who've seen my artwork, they connect with it and they say it touches the soul. And I like that saying, because inside I always used to say I want my art to touch the soul. So when people were saying to me, oh my God, it touches the soul, I was like, boom, there you go, ancestors, you show me the right thing to do. What is going to be beautiful about is art experience. Like I said, it's not just an art exhibition, as Queen Urban Goddess said. When you go into an art exhibition, you just look around at the art, and that's beautiful within itself, because a lot of people get things from looking at art that looks like them. So first and foremost, we're presenting art that reflects who we are. because most cases in the UK, when you go to art exhibition, although there's a lot more now, you tend to not see art that really reflects us as a people. So the art might still be beautiful, but you don't see yourself in it. So sometimes it's hard to connect when you don't see yourself in the artwork. So when you come into the space, you're going to see art that reflects you, your culture, your history. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that we're going to make some of that artwork come to life with your mobile phone and your earphones. That's what's the biggest difference with that. We want people to have an immersive experience.
That's interesting. I know that that's going to be very powerful, because I went to see a theatre production a week ago, actually, and it was immersive and it was full on. You know, it was a really great experience. I mean, like, my children will never forget it. Yeah, type of thing. Yeah, it was one of those. So I think when you're dealing with, when you're talking about art now, you know, we have to, you know, we talk about the metaverse, there's all sorts of things going on. We have to, it can't just be a picture on the wall for us anymore. It has to give, it has to breathe life into it now. There has to be an experience of that art outside of seeing it passively. Yeah, we're too evolved now for us to just passively look at something. Yeah, we want a, if you like, the blended learning experience, the, you know, the sensorial experience, you know, where you're dealing with all the senses in order for us to, you know, engage with that artist. So I'm actually looking forward to that. That's going to be quite exciting. Yeah. You'll see me there. Yes, you will now. Yes, you will. I have artists in the family, so we will be there.
Brilliant.
So you know, tell us. So what about yourself, Dionne? Tell us about, you know, how, I know you've been doing your mosaics for a long time now, and you know, it's quite a unique, you know, structure of art, really. You know, I mean, I did art GCSE, and it's so funny because during the I'm not really, you know, I've been one of these parents. I'm very hands-on, actually, but when it came to making models in school, I was like, you know what? No, leave me alone. Yeah. And then, you know, I don't know, and then I had my last child, where I couldn't get away, from not dealing with art, right? I tried to avoid art for years, though I was pretty good at it. And you know, then when I got into model making, when I was doing, you know, I was that mum. I was that mum. It was like, cast your model, son. Don't worry, you just stand over there. I'm sorry, it's so true. So my youngest really brought out the art in me, actually. Really brought it out. He's always drawing. I mean, he's in the middle of a collection right now, you know, like it's always drawing. And two of them are always drawing, but the youngest one is really drawing a lot. And then during the lockdown, funny enough, you know, it's just like, I was looking at, I remember looking at a book many years ago about joy. Yeah, I think it was All the Joy You Can Stand. Yeah, and I remember coming across a book that was talking about, you know, doing the things that you love, that bring you joy, that are free. And I thought, okay, well, you know, the things that brought us joy as a child were the things that were free. Yeah. We get into all of these kind of externals, but actually, you know, singing, I used to play the guitar, these little things, right? All of these things were free, right? And art was another one of those things. So I was thinking, you know, that lockdown was, you know, started, and it was, you know, it was popping off everywhere emotionally for a lot of people. And I was like, okay, you know, and art came into, you know, the children were just doing the art they were, and I was engaging in it, you know, and I was like, okay, now. And then recently we got one of these figures, you know, those figures that they move, they contort, and they, you know, for them to actually really, you know, engage in, you know, getting the proportions right and things like that. And I could hear myself like some kind of art teacher in the house, you know, especially now that I'm homeschooled. Like, right, no, shading. Like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't become that mother. Yes, I did. So I think art, you know, can be, you know, now I'm really got a, you know, if they say to me, Mom, you know, what do you think about this? They come and show me the pictures and stuff like that. And when you know, it was hard enough to throw them away. Now I'm really hard enough to throw those ones away. You know, like God knows we can put all their pictures for life, right?
Yeah.
Someone tell me what the hack is, please. I want to know.
Can you put them in a
Please.
scrapbook?
I'm waiting.
A scrapbook, maybe.
And so,
Good
you know,
idea.
and I think you have art. I think art really brings so much, you know, it's like a hidden gift. It really is. And it's a real hidden talent. And, you know, and art is, you know, my art compared to the children's art, you know, they've got their own little styles now and stuff like that. They've got these little characters. And I would just sort of like guide them where, you know, where I can. You know, I'm one of those, like, you know, I'm doing like the fine lines and the shading back in the days, you know, that kind of, you know, that kind of stuff. But it really kind of like, now it's almost like being able to merge that, all of what I know, you know, a little GCSE.
It's all coming back.
Listen, girls, right in. Right. There's a secret art teacher in me. There's a secret art.
It's interesting that.
Go on. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's interesting that you say that it's a hidden gift, because that's exactly what mine was, and I'm not too sure if probably similar to the ladies as well, because I
definitely
didn't grow up being an artist like that. It was something that I wanted to do as a hobby, which I did as a hobby. I knew that I couldn't draw or paint, and I wasn't really interested in those as such, and I wanted to do something that was easy. So I thought, and then when I saw Mosaic, read about it, and it was like, that looks interesting. That was all I thought. And I thought, let me just go along and do the course. And it was a 10-week course in Camden. I was working in London at the time. So I went along to the course. I've got to tell you the story actually of how I did my first piece. I was wearing these, first of all, sat down in the class with a group of probably about 20 of us. And everybody was sketching and drawing and everything. And then I was kind of like looking at everyone thinking, what the hell am I going to draw? Because I can't draw. And I'm like, I think I've chosen the wrong practice. But then I was fiddling around and I had these earrings in and took my earrings out. And these earrings were in the shape of the side profile of a woman with like locks. And I thought, right, let's see if I can draw that. So I put that down on the table and I started drawing this outline. And I kid you not, the drawing just went smoothly. It was like I wasn't drawing it. It was like something else was taking over this pencil. And it came out perfectly. The first time I was like, oh, that was good. So that was that. And I started creating. And when I'd finished, I was the first one to finish actually my design. Took it home, showed the family, and they were like, wow, you need to do more of these. I knew I was going to do more anyway, but you need to do more of these. So it was just so therapeutic. And I instantly Googled African mosaics. Is anyone else doing African mosaics? Because that's what I wanted to do. And I couldn't see anyone actually predominantly doing African mosaic art. So I thought, right, that's it. I'm going to be doing African inspired mosaics, because I want to be able to showcase art, not just people just looking at paintings or sculpture. I wanted to see it in a different format in mosaic medium. So that was kind of what prompted me to continue. And from there, it's just grown and grown from there. So I did piece after piece after piece. Then someone asked me if can I do a party for their children, and I was like, sure, I'll do that. So I just gathered up all my pieces, that my leftover cut pieces, used them, and was really like surprised by the people or the children's engagement in the actual art. And it just really kept it just keeps those, because they're using their fine motor skills and they're concentrating, and that was amazing to watch, especially the boys. And then yeah, it just grew from there. It's just, I just absolutely love it.
Brilliant.
That's lovely. That's lovely. I think it's really. I've seen some of your pieces, and you've got some beautiful pieces. So yeah, I think it's going to be your pieces come to life. You know, they're you know, you just, if you're a kinesthetic learner like I am, you just have to want to, you know, you're like, I need to touch this. You know, it's one of those, because it's really kind of like, you know, really stands out. So yeah, you've got some beautiful pieces there. So Jay, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
And what started, how did you get started? You know, what is it for you?
I too did an art GCSE, but at the time, and I swear blind on this, I'm pretty sure my teacher was on the sauce most of the time. when she was in, she smelled a bit funny. And yeah, that's basically, long story short, I then didn't pursue it because I didn't feel I got the right grades to go on to art school. So I kind of convinced myself it was a dead dream. Don't focus on that. Focus on like being serious, getting a vocational job. So I did marketing at university, which at the time felt like a really big mistake. About 7 years on, it feels okay. I've got some marketing knowledge behind me, which is great. But I focused a very long time on like being very serious and working very hard. And quite frankly, it wasn't getting me very far financially. So I ended up in this virtual / augmented reality studio. And in those sort of gaming studios, you're surrounded by artists who are, you know, making art for video games, they're making storyboards. And I was just so inspired seeing all of these people around me draw, create. And I felt a bit like, oh, you know, this could have been open to me. Like if I had just pursued what I enjoyed doing, you know, I thought I needed to shut it away because who pays for artists anymore? This isn't the 50s where adverts are hand drawn. That was wrong anyway. So on the back of their sort of inspiration, I started drawing again, and that was probably about 6 years ago. And I really got back into it. I just felt it was so beautiful. I felt this is what I've been missing all of these years. No wonder I was miserable. I was into all of these arts as a child, and then I completely threw them in the trash. And I think one of the true keys to happiness is definitely finding what you enjoyed doing as a child and revisiting that in some kind of way. So I did that. And I started to really try and get my art out there and build up my Instagram, because that was the only way I knew how at the time. And then during the lockdown, I was furloughed for a bit. So I think with a lot of people in the country, I spent a lot of time just like mentally reinvesting back into my art. And I then got invited to exhibit at Birmingham Contemporary Art Gallery with Elaine, who I haven't met since. So yeah, small world. Be nice to people, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, I then started just trying to put myself out there and connect with people. It really became about trying to find the others, because there's so much you can find empathetically between people in art, and there's so much storytelling you can do. And a large part of my focus is African diasporic spiritualities. I myself, I'm initiated as an Obia woman. So in my art, I make sure to put a lot of symbols in there, a lot of references to ancestor that really sort of point towards us as a people finding our spiritual home. Because I think for the longest time, we've been setting up shop in other people's home, not out of choice. And that's what I like to bring to the world, this conversation that everything our ancestors did, they weren't devil worshippers, they weren't, you know, crazy people who engaged with nature in a way that the Europeans found bizarre. You know, there was all meaning to this. And I think we've got a lot of science now, which is validating a lot of the stuff that was ancestrally known. So it's always great to know that a part of the culture has been Columbused by another part of the culture.
I like that. Columbus. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a piece behind me if I can figure out the side. I've taken this from Miss Ivory Coast, Olivia Yasse, and her image really inspired me to talk about the mother of water, Yemaya, Lesoyen, Mama Dlo. You know, Mother of Water has many different names across continental Africa, depending on where you go. So this sort of divine worship is what you'll see in my
She's
art.
the lady on the Starbucks logo, by the way, everyone.
Another Columbus.
Just so you know. Just
Another
so you know.
Columbus.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, you talked a little bit about lockdown, and maybe it's a conversation because obviously we've had this, you know, our conversation is Quarantine Convos, and we're having this conversation because we recognize it's, you know, we might be in a position where things are not quite in lockdown, but you know, it's going on in different pockets of the world. Yeah. So the conversation continues. Yeah. And we foresee that, you know, this is not quite over. Yeah. And so, you know, part of the reason for doing these shows and continue to doing these shows is also as a resource, you know, for the audience. Yeah. Because a lot of people, you know, it's, you know, fear is an industry. I talk about it all the time. Yeah. And that, you know, that despair that was created, yeah, that energy of despair, yeah, was very dense, yeah, and very divisive. And we knew what it looked like. Those of us who know what time it is knew what it looked like. So maybe it's just about also asking you, you know, how did you deal with, you know, what did your art look like during the lockdown? Did you become more inspired during the lockdown? Did it bring you to a place that, you know, did your work change its trajectory during the lockdown as well? So maybe, Nefateri, if you start.
Okay, I suppose to a certain degree, yeah. One of the things that I actually loved the first lockdown, if I can be honest with you, I loved it. I loved it. Yeah. I got a lot more time to spend with my children. It was quiet out in the streets because people were scared to go out. So I took up cycling again. We went cycling. It was lovely. Loved it. Yeah. And also created a music video during lockdown, actually the first lockdown with my children. So I've got a track called FBI. So that was something I used to rap back in the days. Please do not ask me to do it now.
Do now. You've mentioned
I already been plugged on the
spot. You don't say them kind of things now.
So we created a music video, me and my children, and that was fantastic. And I think having that time off as well. I mean,
yeah, it was beautiful. It was very nurturing, wasn't it? It was very nurturing.
Going into the
really nurture your children and connect.
Thank you. And just connect. It was beautiful. And we spent a lot of time creating as well. I've got loads of paints and things. So we just created anyway. And I think I was able to develop more during that time as well into the kind of art that I wanted to produce. Because at the beginning, like I said, because I didn't know how to paint or anything, because I didn't. My art school was YouTube, you know, but because I tell you, there's some good people on there to learn the basics anyway, but that was just helping me to kind of understand how to piece work together. But it's not until I started to get intuitive messages that would come to me. So I would see a vision of an end piece of art and I'd be like, whoa, that looks nice. How do I bring that to life? How do I bring that to life? Do you know what I mean? So I started to get a lot more in tune with my higher self, I suppose, because I was picking up all these images and then I was going out trying to create them using mixed media. I didn't want to just do 2D art anymore because I was learning 2D art just to paint on canvas. I wanted my art to come to life without any animations. So for me, that was making it 3D. So using different elements that made the images come out of the piece. And that has just grown since then. And it's only after like my last, like I said, solo exhibition, where I then said, oh, the next exhibition I do, I want to make things really come to life. I want it to be immersive. So I suppose the lockdown allowed me to tap more into myself and connect with my higher self to find my style. I suppose, if you want to say my style. But yeah, I now have something that's uniquely mine. It doesn't come from watching videos anymore now. It just downloads and then I create that now. So that's a beautiful place to be now that I'm doing the art. Yeah.
And I think there is that whole thing around, no matter how digitalized the world becomes, how much technology grows, we'll always need human connection.
Mm.
Yeah. And so that connectivity, what kind of bonds were made during that time, they're still quite significant. If you notice, there's still there's some significant ties that have been made during that time, and connections and conversations that you might have had with your children. And I remember when the lockdown first started, and I had said to the children, I don't know what it's going to look like, but whatever it is, we're going to make it fun. Yeah, and we'll just go from there. We'll just go from there. That's the bar. Just go from there. Yeah. So I think that connection, and creativity, sounded very fruitful, if you like. And it's left an imprint. And it's when these kinds of situations occur, especially we have children or loved ones around us, I think the intention of making powerful memories with quality time, not necessarily doing anything external, just the being together, the beingness matters. So Dionne, tell us a little bit about how the lockdown was for you during that time as well, and what how your creativity was shaped. Can you hear me?
There's a bit of a lag, isn't it, getting to D?
Dionne? Oh,
Ooh.
no. Oh, she'll come back in. I think she's coming back in.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jay. You carry on when she comes back in.
Yeah. I think. Oh, is it really wrong to say I had a similar reaction to Nefateri? It's like, great. There's no one's demanding me leave my house. I can stay in my yard. I'm so happy with that. I'm such a house cat. It was a lot of time to become really introspective, really digging my heels into my higher self, more spiritual side of things, going out into nature, getting my feet on the ground, and bringing that experience back into my art, because it was quite an isolating time. As much as I love staying in my house, it's one thing staying in your house by choice. It's another thing being told you have to stay in your house, especially if you're someone like me who has issues with authority. I don't like to be told what to do. So yeah, a bit of like inner conflict being held in there. But I really did, I got to paint some really fabulous pieces about my like core beliefs, about my relationship with like plant medicines, which are either demonized or illegalized in the West. And it was just a real opportunity to be able to speak to a lot of, now friends in a way that I guess I never really had the opportunity to. That's really influenced my art. There's always little pieces of this idea of find the others in my art. Find the others who you can get along with and build community and do great things with. And interestingly, one of the pieces that really spoke about that for me was the piece that was hanging at the exhibition that Nefateri was able to see. So it did its job. It found the others.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Is that your nanny piece?
No, that was my Obia woman ancestor healer one. My Queen Nanny is just back from the framers, so that's going to be at the exhibition. I'm really excited about that.
Brilliant.
That's lovely. So Dionne, you're back with us. So tell us a bit about how lockdown, the situation there, encouraged or enhanced the work that you or inspired you during that period of time.
Yes. Like Jay said, I have a problem with authority as well. So I kind of just refuse to.
That's why we all get on so
I
well.
ain't listening to it.
Notice I'm saying nothing at this point. I'm saying nothing. Yes, I'm one of those. I'm one of those. We wouldn't be us. Yeah, we wouldn't be us. Yeah, this whole thing, like we wouldn't be us if we were, submitting to the wrong things. Yeah. We choose our submission carefully. That's all I'm saying. Carry on.
Well, I just it didn't feel like lockdown to me. The only thing that was different to me was that it was so quiet and I could hear everything. Yes. I could hear. I mean, like, where I live now, it's really quiet and I can always hear the birds in the morning. But it was even more quiet and I could really listen to nature, which was just beautiful. So I spent a lot of my time in the studio, which is just over there behind me, just creating just anything really, and going out walking in nature. And I adopted a dog at that time as well. So that was really a good excuse for me to actually go out and kind of walk with the dog, and that was it was just a really nice time. So my pieces I don't think they actually, no, I tell a lie. I did a course, a 3D course, and I learned how to work with slate. And through working with slate, because normally my work is 2D and very flat, and so through working with slate, it then gave me another alternative way of using materials in my work. And I just absolutely wow, where have I been all this time working flat all this time? Let's do some of this 3D stuff. So then working with slate, I then started looking at other materials like beads and shells, and let me just put a bit of that in, a bit of that in, and see what happens. And so now you'll see some of my work. You'll see the because I'm going to bring both types of work, so you'll see that you can sort of compare the two and see where I have kind of transitioned into a new way of working. Still focusing on the design finish. Everyone's frozen.
We're losing you. You're cracking up a bit.
Did I freeze?
Yeah, connection's going a little bit there. It's not my end at this point, I think. No. Okay, I can hear you now.
Is that okay? Is it all right?
Bit better.
Cool. Yeah. It's
cutting in and out. It's still cutting in and out. Yeah, it's been one of those. And when the weather changes as well, don't you notice how that just impacts on your internet? Like just everything just.
That's right.
It's not having it, nature has spoken. Okay, I surrender. That's what you say. Okay, it's a thunderstorm. Do nothing.
Yeah,
come on now, ladies. I know this, especially Jane. From what you've already shared, I know. I just know.
If I'm in a slightly bad mood, I'm convinced my internet doesn't work as well. I'm convinced. I'm convinced my mood affects the router. It must be.
Yeah. Is that come on.
That's it. Tap in.
When you're a woman, you know what time it is.
I know what you mean.
I mean, I just look outside and I look and I go okay, there's a storm. We're gonna have some challenges. Okay. Okay then, bring it on. Come on now, when you're you're functioning from nature. Yeah, when you're functioning, from that space, taking yourself out of this kind of, yes, we're in our, we're in the technical times, but when you're dealing with ancestral work, if some of you know, I'm a doula already, so So when you're dealing with work that's connected to your ancestors, you're always like, life is a ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah, life is ritual to you. What you do matters. Yeah. So I recognize, we laugh, but I know I know that me and these sisters could have some very deep conversations after this, some deep. So I'm not even gonna go there. It's too heavy for you, lot, man. It's too heavy for you. I'm not ready for this. Keep it light.
I think these ladies handle the deepness.
Say that again.
I think the ladies can definitely handle the deepness. So let's go deep, man.
I'm not talking about the audience. I'm not talking about these ladies. I'm talking about the audience. Are you ready? Because
okay.
When you're taking art, when you look at art, and you talk about how you have come about your art, it's like, so my background used to be in performing arts. So years ago, where I used to do a lot of musical theatre, things like that. Singing has always been a thing. And, you can, I'd recognize when I was doing things like art, how relaxing it is, how calming it is, similar to singing. Yeah. Anyone who knows me knows a Sunday, some lovers rock going, and it's good. We're good to go. Good to go. Yeah. And that's when I exercise my lungs on Sunday. Yeah. And so, I make that, for me, it's like my ritual. I make a point of doing that. And so, I recognize during those lockdown times, how singing became important for me. Yeah. It's like, okay, got to change the state of frequency. So I can imagine, and it's very much, when you get into, we're talking about like theta waves. Yeah. And similar to, I'm sure, even though I don't take on art in the same way, I can imagine, what kind of waves, frequencies you are on when you're creating that piece. Yeah.
Definitely. I can speak to that, actually. The polyvagus nerve, the nerve that runs from our brain right down to our uterus, it controls fight or flight. Mm-hmm. When you're singing, it helps to tone that nerve because of the breathing patterns. And when you're painting, you'll start to notice when you're having to do certain details or move things in a specific way, you're having to like control your breathing in order to get things right. So I can imagine it affects the same nerve in the body.
It has the same system. Yeah, I can imagine that. And that's why I say, though I'm not an artist, I can imagine it's gonna be quite exciting to see this what you've produced. Yeah. We look at art and we don't necessarily, we look at beautiful pieces, but we don't often get to experience the spiritual aspects of art. Yeah. And so that's what I know I'm coming for. Is that okay? You know what, like, you can go to an art exhibition, it's lovely, and you've networked, etc., and you've met lovely people, etc., but it's about coming home with something in your heart.
Yeah, and you're definitely going to get that when you come to visit the exhibition. You'll definitely get that because you can see from all of us here where we're coming from anyway.
I can't wait.
A deep reflection of who we are, the art is. When you step into the space, you're going to feel it first and foremost. That's the first thing. Then you're going to love it because you're going to see work that looks like you. When you see work that looks like you, it inspires you, it empowers you. So you're going to see that. Then you get your connection with the ancestors. Then you see the pieces come to life. Then you hear the pieces come to life. And you're like, what? That's what it's about. That's exactly what it's about. And we are hoping that when you come, you're going to go away with more than just having seen beautiful images. You're going to go away feeling emotionally elevated and inspired. Yeah, most definitely. And I think we all bring our own fire to all the pieces. So although we're very different as well, we're different in our style. So the upstairs part of the exhibition, because it's over 2 floors, there's 3 rooms over 2 floors. And when you first enter into the space, that's going to be a space where we shine a light on our individual greatness. So the exhibition is called Still We Rise. And the reason for that is that the basement part of the exhibition is where we're going to shine the light on the atrocities that have taken place against our peoples over time. But we've done it in a way that it's not to bring up trauma per se. Some people will feel emotionally elevated, but it's not to bring up trauma. It's also allowing you to have space to heal as well. The way we present it to you, you're going to feel a sense of healing as well, because there'll be a connection there. It's not going to be raw like our history is usually presented to us, and then we're angry with it. You're not going to feel those type of emotions. You're going to feel a connection to your ancestors. You'll feel emotion, and then you're able to go through like a healing kind of process, because we're telling a narrative now, and so you can hear the voices really of our ancestors speaking through you. So that's going to be a beautiful part of that. So that's in the basement. And then when you come upstairs, like I said, that's where we're saying we stand on the shoulders of those that have gone before us. So even though we've been through atrocity after atrocity as a people, we still rise, man. We're still here. We're still rising, and we've still got gifts that the universe, that the creator wants us to bring forth to allow others to feel empowered and elevated. So you're going to get all that through coming to the experience.
Lovely. Anything else anyone wants to say about that experience? You mentioned something earlier about coming on the Friday and then the Saturday and the Sunday. So tell us, is there any changes, anything different that we will notice?
Anyone want to answer that, Queens?
I think on the Friday, I think it's going to be very busy on the Friday, because that was the day that we really promoted quite a lot. We sold out 150 tickets. Was that within a few days? Wasn't that, Nef?
Couple of weeks, yeah.
If I can
very quickly.
Yeah. So quick, they just went.
Very, yeah. That was just we weren't doing like heavy promoting. We were just probably promoting maybe once a day. I was just doing once a day. And then, people were just jumping on it. It's just like, yeah, we want to come. We want to see this. We want to experience this. So I think what's attracting people is the fact that we're 6 totally unique and powerful women. And we've got some very unique and individual pieces and poetry that we're going to present to our audiences. And I think that's what's really kind of capturing people, because they're really intrigued. I know with myself, people have never seen my work up close and personal. They usually just see it, just on, what I'm presenting on Instagram or on social media. And for a lot of people who, especially my recent followers, they're going to see pieces that they've never seen before, and really going to get to see it up close and personal and see what it is that I actually do, as well as our other artists as well. And then the augmented side of it, I'm really excited about that. I think, Jay, do you want to jump in there as well?
I think this idea of bringing something that's otherwise a 2D medium into like this 21st century space, it's just, it's brilliant, because it gives people a new way to engage with what they're seeing. And it's just such a brilliant thing to be combining. I'm really fascinated about seeing everyone's work in person, because some people, I've seen some people's work in person. I've not seen everyone's work in person. The art, it just looks so beautiful. Even I'm sort of like, I can't wait to go and see what everyone's bringing together. And it tells a really cohesive story as well. I think the way that it's done is just brilliant. This idea of talking about where we've come from, that's great. It's really great. We need to do that. It's a conversation we need to be continually having, because so many people will otherwise try and shut that conversation down. But it's about not leaving the nerves fraught. It's about taking people away with something where they think, do you know what? We are building, and as a community, we are getting better, and we're finding our ways away from this weird Eurocentric patriarchy. We're finding more of what makes us us. And, when people leave, I really hope that they're taking away that sort of hope and that grandeur that we do hold within us, because it's just been hidden for too long. It's been way hidden for too long.
Definitely.
So you sold out on the Friday, is that right? Because I was just checking.
Correct.
And you're sold out.
We are
You had
sold
them
out. I never thought I'd be laughing at something so amazing, but we're sold out.
But
But, you know,
do you have to buy the tickets? So it's just clear. Do you buy the tickets? Like,
right.
if you coming for the full 3 days, or you coming for, like, I haven't bought my ticket yet. So how do I buy a ticket?
So, like I said, the tickets are free. So you get them
Yeah.
from Eventbrite, but we've only put them out for the Friday and the Saturday because they're the longer days. So
Right.
One, it allows us to see numbers, and also to make sure that we're adhering to health and safety in the space, because obviously there can only be so many people in the space at a time. So we did sell, like I said, we did sell out of the 150. We also bear in mind that, you know, maybe some people's things might come up and not everybody with who's got a ticket will be able to attend. So we're not saying that because you don't have a ticket, you cannot turn up. Yes, you can, because I'm sure we're not going to have 100. Well, I shouldn't say I'm sure, because we might well do.
Oh, we might be packed out.
But,
You might.
you know, don't worry if you don't have a ticket for Friday, because like I said, the tickets as well is really to enter you into a prize draw, so that you have the opportunity to go away with a piece of art. So we're offering that on both Friday and Saturday. So if you missed out on the tickets for the Friday, book and come on Saturday, because you're still going to have an opportunity to see the wonderful art. Plus it's from 12 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, because Friday it's 5:30 until 10. On Saturday, it's from 12 in the afternoon until 8. And then on Sunday, 12 to 4. So we've got times that fit in based on whatever your schedule is. So like I said, if you don't have a ticket for Friday, get your ticket for Saturday. And then you still have an opportunity to go away with a piece of original art. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, I've got the dates. I've just flashed up the dates for you.
Thank you.
Here we go with the venue as well. So it's Stoke Newington High Street. And right, and so we can still get tickets at Eventbrite, you said?
Yes, you can still get tickets for Eventbrite. It will bring up tickets for the Saturday, the second day. So all you need to do is type in, once you go to Eventbrite, just type in Still We Rise Art Exhibition, and it will come up. It's the only one that I've seen that's on there. So it will come up and you'll know that it's us. And the flyer looks like that. I don't know if that's back to front. So you'll see that as the page, then you know you've come to the right space. Just enter your details, and then it's an e-ticket. So you'll get the e-ticket, and we'll get the notification, and the name will then be put into the prize draw once we receive the name. But yeah, definitely come along Saturday as well, you know. And I do believe some people might even come back. Those who come on the Friday will come back, because the experience that you're going to have connecting with the pieces, I think you're going to want to come back and like, wow, I need to check this out again. So I would just advise people, bring your mobile phones. If you want an even more personal experience, bring your headphones or your pods, whatever it is, because even though some of the pieces have audio and you can hear the audio just by putting your phone up to the piece, you might want to connect a bit deeper and put your head, sometimes the Jamaican just come out, you know, the headphones, the headphones, and then you can connect a bit more deeper with the piece. Now, I will say we do have guidance, content guidance, and that's just that, like I said, some of the pieces in the downstairs section will trigger it may trigger an emotional response for some people. So we're just making people be aware that, you know, you don't have to participate in the auditory or the sound. You can just come and view the art and just experience it that way. But if you want to really like interact and feel some of the emotions of the pieces, because the pieces will have their own individual emotions, then, you know, then you can connect by using your mobile phone.
Okay, lovely. So, and it's family friendly?
Yes, it's certainly family friendly, definitely. I suppose I want to say parental guidance. It's down to the parents whether or not they want the children to, depending on the age group, to experience some of the sounds in the more sort of emotional auditory. My youngest is 12, and they've been listening to some of the audio and things, but I think it's an individual. So I think it's down to the parents to decide. I have kind of got, like, you know, maybe children under 18 may not want to experience that. It's not traumatic. Let me say, it's not traumatic, but I think everybody's
it's emotive.
levels of emotion is different, and especially if they're empaths, young empaths, it could be quite, you know, emotional. So I think it's.
I think it's about, I think it's parental. I think what you're saying is parental guidance. I think, you know, when you take your children along to anything, you know, there should be a dialogue, there should be a communication around it. You know, I took my children to see, in fact, my children were the only 2 children there actually, at the He's Vulnerable When. Yeah, and it was full of women, right? Mainly women instead of men. And my sons, I'm a mother to sons only, so my 12-year-old and my 8-year-old, you know, my 8-year-old actually came out and said, you know, Mum, there's more women here than there are men. I said, yeah, why do you think that is? I love children. And he said, because men already know what it's like, you know, women they're learning, right? And then a woman has said the same about, why women are here later on. And then I said because I said to my children at the start, I said, when you come out of here, I want you to look at 3 things that you've learned from, you know, He's Vulnerable When. And my youngest said, you know, men, you know, first of all, we wanted to really understand what vulnerable when was. Yeah, so we had to discuss that. And then he said, and I was so touched, you know, he said, you know, men are vulnerable when it comes to family, friends, and relationships. I was like, this guy. This guy. My dog. So you have to have some kind of dialogue. I think it's important. If your children are already aware of, you know, the slave narrative, it's important to, you know, put it in context for them as well. So, you know, if I, you know, most places I carry my children. If I can't really carry my children, I question the place I'm going to be fair. Yeah, unless I plan an adult event, it's different. If I can't really take my children, I'm like,
yeah. No, it's open for everyone because we have beautiful art and stories to share. So definitely open for everyone.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I definitely book our tickets. Yeah, and if I can't get hold of, believe me, I will be messaging you tomorrow. I'm like, get my ticket.
You're not coming in.
So I really appreciate that. I really, you know, I want to, you know, if there's anything else that you'd like to share, maybe there's things that you are doing after this event, or what you see transpiring from this event, you know, what's the vision, if there's any other visions coming up, and if there's any exhibitions that you have coming up or pieces that you're thinking of, you know, we want to be able to experience your art now.
I think one of the beautiful things that has come up from doing quite a few interviews over the last couple of weeks is people asking about tour. They haven't even been to the exhibition yet. And
they already want the roadshow.
Are you going to tour? Are you this and that? And that's been beautiful. It's lovely that people are excited about that. So there's possibilities that can come out of it. Obviously, we have to think about logistics and all those kind of things and how we will move the art around to different spaces, but it's given us food for thought, most definitely. So I think there's a lot of things that can come out of it, and I think it's one of the first of many, especially for myself doing a curated group experience like this. But I haven't really come across many experiences like this at all. So it will be good to develop on top of that. I've already got loads of ideas. I won't share now, but they're going to be even more than what you're coming to see. Already got that in the pipeline. But yeah, I think we just develop from here. And one of the other things, quickly before I pass on to my other queens, is just to say another reason for putting this event on. And I was saying to the queens is that we have to do these things for ourselves now. You know, this is that we have to create our own spaces, our own platforms, rather than knocking down doors to be able to come in and showcase our work. You know, it's not about that. And I think we all kind of agreed with that because, you know, like we said, we're not one for authority. We want to do our own thing. You can't tell us what we can and can't do, or people who look at our art and think, oh, that's beautiful, that'll look really good Black History Month. What are you talking about? All year round. It shouldn't be just for a specific month. So because of those kind of conversations, like, you know what, we put it on ourselves. We do it when we want. We do it how we want. No one telling us, oh, you can't do it like that, or what about, or you're leaving this one. We don't want to hear it. We do it ourselves, and we show you how it's done. Do you know what I mean? We show you how it's done the way we want to do it, but it's been embraced. And that's the beautiful thing, because we're usually told it won't really work if you don't include other things, you know what I mean? So we have to create our own spaces and our own
You've got to make it more general. That's the dog whistle, right? We've got to make it more general. I've never been to a show like this before. Any shows that I have been to that have, you know, curated Black history in terms of art, it's been at Black History Month, or perhaps it's been the Tate doing like a Frank Bowling exhibition. It's never been like, we are showcasing all of these women of the diaspora all at once. So that is, I think that's totally fresh. And
for us by us.
For us by us.
Yeah, it has to be done. And then we open doors for others, you know, we lead the way. So then our younger youths that are coming up behind us say, well, yeah, this is what we have to do for ourselves, to put ourselves on the map. And then those people who maybe we would have gone to before knocking on doors, we've changed the narrative. Now they potentially come looking for us, and then we're in a better space to negotiate terms, and you can't tell us that we have to do it differently because you saw how we done it, and that's what attracted you. So not that that's what we're looking for, because we're still looking to put on things for ourselves, but we're still open to anything that the universe brings our way out of doing our own work.
Totally.
Absolutely.
That's the key to manifestation, right?
Go on, Dionne.
Go back again. I didn't hear what you said.
No, go ahead. Is there anything you want to add? Anything you're planning to do also as well afterwards? Anything that's coming up for you post the event?
I don't have much to add to that. I think the ladies have said it all, but I think, have I gone again?
No, that's me. Let me stop sharing
the whole we can hear you. The whole screen is buffering.
I loved it.
Oh,
Let me just.
Can you still see?
That was far too ambitious, right?
No, we were just discussing before we went live that the state of our studio spaces and our houses and our front rooms and back rooms, and like if anyone saw the chaos that we've created, they would be like, whoa, what happened there? So I think what we'll be doing is after this, we'll be doing a lot of cleaning and sleeping.
Oh my God, yeah.
There's a lot of energy.
Sister Chinyere says once they see it work after you have taken the risk.
Yeah, they want to see you do it, and then piggyback off of your success and slap their 10% fees on top.
But yeah, I appreciate it. I don't want anyone disappearing off the screen right now. Did we all disappear at once?
Okay.
We just had a commercial break, don't worry. And our sister's downtime, and we need them, and the universe just goes now.
Yeah.
So I want to appreciate the space that you are creating. I really think it's going to be really inspirational for young people as well. I think it's going to be something that I'm just going to observe. I'm going to have the conversations with my children, but then I'm going to observe what they get from that experience. Yeah, I love, I took them to Superhero Day, African Superhero Day on Thursday, and it was just so beautiful. Yeah, and I got them to bring. They had no idea they were going. I got them to bring their their Black superheroes with them. I said, you might not need them, but you're going to be glad you carried them. Yeah. And so when they were there, they're like, yeah, they had, they learned about all these different characters and characters we don't even see in, and then goes into like anime and stuff. So, it was kind of like, really like expanding them inside of that. And I know that I would have never, if I didn't really have children that were really artistic, that would have never been me. Yeah. Because I was very much like, no, I would have never really engaged in it. But they kind of like encouraged that. They kind of cajoled it out of me. Yeah.
Nice.
They're like, okay, mama, there's no excuse. There's 2 of us now, and there's only 3 sons, and there's 2 of us now. You can't even hide. I'm like, so, but it's nice. And I think, what, and so for me, I'm just conscious that bringing them to a space like that and exposing them to, we forget the importance of cultural competence. yeah, and exposing our children to environments. Yeah, we don't have to have all the answers. Yeah, you know, when I was young, what brought me into theatre was, you know, whether we had money or not money, you know, we weren't well off in that sense, but somehow we went to see the ballet. Yeah, fairly regularly. Yeah, my mum just loved ballet, so we went to see ballet, and that kind of like over time it sticks. So my thing for me is very much about, you know, encouraging my children to see, and you know what's missing is, you know, black animation. It's just like you have to really search for it, and my children are really on that vibration right now.
Brilliant.
So, you know, encouraging them to see black art all over, yeah, it's going to be lovely for them. So I'm looking forward to that, and you know, and then meeting you in person, and you can meet my, you know, the children and stuff. So I thank you so much for coming into the space. Yeah, technicals and all.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
It's the only woman in the space, you know. It's the energy of the only. I'm not that energy's queen. I know those.
Yes.
I know those energies. It's all good. So I want to thank you so much for coming into the space. I'm going to put you backstage. If I lose you, just message me. But I really want to say thank you so much for coming in the space. And by all means, you see their headers there. You see Nefateri. I'm just going to put up yours, and but everyone's got their handles on side there. So, and that's Nefertari's. And so Nefateri created this space, and is going to curate the space, and has brought these sisters together. So I give thanks. It's so beautiful to see you again, and you know, you're just forever expanding. You know what I mean? We're like, come on, veteran now, veteran.
Sorry.
Come on, Dionne. Come on. Hardcore. So, and thank you, Queen. Thank you. I managed to meet, you know, another lady earlier, Nanette, last week when we were trying to get So, you know, I know that it's, you know, we're dealing with some wonderful women. Yeah, you know, and you know, women with personalities. Remember those? I love a woman with a personality.
What, before it was all duck pouts on Instagram?
Oh, Sister Chineri says, yeah. She says, do you remember her?
Of course I remember you. What are you talking about? Campaign. Woo, woo.
Family in the building, family in the building.
Yeah.
I love it. So give thanks, ladies. I'm just going to wrap up here, so I'm going to put you backstage and just wait for me there. And if it drops out, don't worry. The universe is what the universe is. Yeah. So
thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure and a blessing. Yeah, and we made it happen by hook or by crook. Yeah. And so it's this weekend. Let me just flash it up before you guys leave. Let me just flash it up again so that people are aware. Who didn't, you know, go back and check this out if you didn't see some of it already earlier, so you get some of the information around the flyer. And we shall, hold on, give me a second. Yeah, those are the dates. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's free event. Yeah.
It's a free event, yeah.
And it is Stokey pop-ups. Yeah, 147 Stoke Newington High Street, London, N160NY.
Yeah.
And you can get your tickets at Eventbrite, Still We Rise Art Exhibition. Yes?
Yes. On point.
All right, ladies. I look forward to seeing you at the weekend. Yeah, over the course of the weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I will let you know. But thank you again. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
We're almost there. Just me and you. It's just me and you now. Oh, how wonderful. How wonderful was that? That was beautiful. Beautiful. I don't know how you felt about it, but I thought it was it's lovely and refreshing. What wonderful sisters. Yeah. And people talking about there's not good women and all this kind of such a nonsense. Look at these beautiful women. Yeah, look at them. They're amazing. So, I just want you to enjoy the experience. I want you to come down to the experience as well. And Chineri says excellent work. Yes, I look forward to it. I mean, that's going to be a very powerful space to have those sisters in the space like that and creating an immersive piece. And I look forward to brothers doing spaces like that. Yeah, I look forward to art spaces where brothers will do immersive pieces like that. So it's all about leadership. Yeah, and yeah, as nation builders, as women are. Yeah, I always talk about women carry the vision and men execute. Yeah, so these women have carried the vision and sought to execute this. Yeah, this is the masculine and feminine balance right here. Yeah, this is what it looks like in talk about modern women. No. Yeah, this is what it looks like. Yeah, we have the vision, we have the inspiration, we have the creativity, and we action on it. Yeah, and clearly these women hold themselves accountable. Yeah, to having this project be what this project is. So I just really want to thank them for coming into the space this evening. We did have some technicals, as you saw, but we ride through it. Yeah, we keep going, and their exhibition is perfect because it's still we rise and we continue to rise, family, at all times. Yeah, and it is what it is. So thank you so much. I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Next week, actually, I'll probably see you again next week. I won't tell you anything about our guest right now, but I appreciate you. And as always, as I say, if you, yeah, as always, yeah, you ain't got nothing if you ain't got kush. So see you next time.
Quarantine Convos. Enjoy weekly discussions with people from around the world, assisting us in dealing with this normal, mentally, spiritually, and physically. We feature nutritionists, psychologists, therapists, personal trainers, home educators, legal experts, and more, bringing you all the information and inspiration you need. Check out Quarantine Convos every Thursday from 7 p.m. live on Got Kush TV.